Hi, Susie Newcomb here with your Namaspa Nugget. Let's look at the pelvis. So stand up with me and bring your hands alongside your hips with your fingers touching these front bones. These are called the as-is bones on your pelvis, and then your thumbs back toward your sacrum. So we want to keep the pelvis neutral in yoga poses. Right here, lift the front of your pelvis, and now lift the back. So these are kind of like doing what we call cat-cows, right? Lifting the front of your pelvis, which arches your back like a cat, and then sticking your tailbone back, which makes your back sink into a curve, yep, like the cow pose. And so you can feel that going front and back. So you might imagine that you've got water in the bowl of your pelvis, and when you go forward, water's coming out the front. When you lift the front too much, water's going out the back. So neutral pelvis is where it's even. The water isn't flowing out the front or the back. And more importantly, there's no pain or discomfort. Well, one thing that we want to look at is that the low back actually has a different curve than the upper back. So you can see the low back has a curve going one way. The upper back's going the opposite way. And to keep the pelvis neutral, we want to keep those curves opposite each other. So in back bends, where we're extending the upper back and taking it back against its normal curve, we also want to do the same with the pelvis. We want to lift the front of the pelvis so the low back smooths out a little bit against its curve. That way, it feels neutral, there's no compression. If I take the upper back into a back bend this way, and I also lift my pelvis, so I'm really accentuating the same curve like a circle, I feel compression right at my low back. If I just simply go a little bit against the low back curve, boom, that compression goes away. Now let's look at a deep forward bend where we're rounding the shoulders and coming forward. Then I just want to go into the curve of the low back, lift the pelvis, lift the tailbone up toward the sky to create that curve of the low back. So that's what we want to do in our deep forward bends, like our twists. We actually want to hollow out the low back and lift the tailbone. In a pose like chair, it's right in between, because as if I take my arm bones back, I'm going into more of a back bend. And at some point, I want to scoop my tailbone under in order to find neutral. How do I know exactly where it is? It's a place where there's no compression, there's no pain, it feels free and easy. So move your pelvis, lift the front of your pelvis so the tailbone descends, that's in most poses. And then a deep forward bends, we want to lift the pelvis, lift the tailbone up and back to remain easy and neutral. That's your Namaspa Nugget. I'll see you on your mat.